What's up, boys? Decided that to try something new here this year. Get really sick of trying to type all this shit out, so I thought maybe it would be easier to just do a video. Who knows? I'll probably fuck this up too, and probably have to do it another way. And I'll probably have to start this all over next week. Anyways, let's get into it. So we had our first week, and I got all my handy notes right here because writing, again, like I said, is way too much work. Especially when you have to set up a new league, which I've basically been doing for the last hour, which has been awesome. Anyways, moving on. First matchup we got this week, we had Buzzer versus Matt. And it looks like Buzzer had a pretty decent week. He had 153 points, which was second most this week. Had pretty solid performances out of a lot of his team, including Drew Brees last night, Keenan Allen, Kamara, a bunch of other people. Yeah, don't feel like reading through all of it. His bench sucked, but doesn't matter because this is his bench. And Matt just pretty much sucked in general. David Johnson and Jay Jacobs, whoever the fuck that is, did good. But yeah, looks like Matt is out to his usual losing streak to start the year. And Buzzer is off to a fast start, but we all know that won't last. Next, we have Father and Corey. Father just wanted to get the trend started right away, as he normally does, and get the weekly low score starting week 1. To no surprise to any of us in the league. Too many tight ends, Corey's team. Doesn't look like he has too many tight ends. He's got 2. That seems about like the right amount that you would need on your team. So not sure that I don't understand the team name, but whatever. He had a good week out of Wentz. Shitty week out of pretty much everybody else that wasn't named DeAndre Hopkins. T.Y. Hilton on his bench did good. Father sat Deshaun Jackson, who got 35 points and would have scored the most points out of anybody in this matchup, but he benched him. So again, pretty standard for Father. Father is in dead last, and Corey is in 5th, which means he is last in the people who won this week. So Corey, don't get too excited about that. You're basically best of the worst, worst of the best, or however Common says it. Next, we got Perk and Don. Perk had a solid week. Nothing too extravagant, but had a big week out of Dak Prescott and another good week out of Evan Ingram. Again, showing how much value tight ends really have in this league. Don, on the other hand, had a shitty week out of his tight end, Jared Cook. Had a really bad week out of Corey Davis, who got 0.00 points. I believe that's almost as bad as it gets. I did see a negative. Oh, let me go back here. I did see a negative out of somebody's defense. Father's weird. So not as bad as it can get, but still pretty bad. Amari Cooper did good for him. Some other people did all right. Cam Newton got 6 points, which is not good for a quarterback, especially when Don's quarterback on the bench, Tom Brady, got 25 points. Don also had Marlon Mack on the bench, 25 points, and Larry Fitzgerald, 25 points on the bench. So Don had, out of 3 players, over 75 points sitting on the bench, which was almost his total for this week. So, again, pretty piss poor management on his part. So, Perk, you can say you won this week. I would prefer to say that you just didn't lose. But at least Don didn't get last place, or weekly low score, I should say. Let's see, next matchup we got here, we have Mitch and Nate. Nate scored the second or third most points this week and still lost. So pretty standard by Nate. He still does good, but still finds a way to piss it away. Pretty standard Novak trait there. Mitch had Deshaun Watson go off for 31 points, only to be beaten by Nate's quarterback by 2 points, Lamar Jackson. Again, you have a quarterback that throws 6 touchdowns or gets 6 touchdowns, you still can't win. It says a lot about your team, Nate. Let's see here. Anything else worth noting? And Nate's 3rd-round pick is on his bench, which is a really good spot for your 3rd-round pick. Nate's backup tight end got... I must have cut it off or something. I don't see his other tight end on here. His one tight end did okay. He did get a touchdown, 3 catches, 1 touchdown. Wow, that's a solid week. Yeah, otherwise pretty boring matchup here, other than the fact that it's a lot of points for the fact that we have one less wide receiver position. But Mitch is in first place with 170 points. Nate is in sixth, being the highest scoring loser. And matchup of the week here, let's see who we got here. Okay, matchup of the week is between Nick and I. Pretty standard, as is everything in my fantasy world going so far, is that it just started out on a shitty note. Luckily, I'm going to be blowing up this league and starting a new one, so I will probably change my points and say that I got more than I actually did. My defense scored me 0 points, pretty standard for Cleveland. That's what I get for thinking somebody in Cleveland would actually do something worth a shit. I had Matt Ryan get me 20 points. I had Chris Carson get me 24 points. Other than that, pretty boring matchup, for at least from what I brought to the table. Nick's keeper, Pat Mahomes, got 27 points. Michael Thomas, I would assume his first-round pick, got 22 points. Alshon Jeffrey did good for him as well. He did manage to sit Sammy Watkins, but didn't need him. I assume he knew he was going to kick my ass, so he just decided to give him the week off, as did most people who had Sammy Watkins on their team. Yeah, I had my backup tight end got a lot of points, but as backup tight ends tend to do, get a lot of points. So yeah. So that's where we have it. We have Mitch in first place. We have Dennis with the weekly low score. As far as the league updates go, I believe there was 7 or 8 people that had already signed up for the new league. Basically what happened was you're not able to add free agent acquisition bidding, I think that's what it stands for, after the year starts. Long story short, I thought I copied over from last year, but it didn't. So I did get that set up, and once everybody signs up for the league, I'll be able to get everybody's draft in. I got the point scoring done, and obviously nobody had any waiver wire pickups with this first week, so I'll manually enter the scores, redo the matchups, and we should be good to go on that front. So yeah, make sure you go out and pick up all the no-namers that did really good this week. Make sure to try to trade Nate for Antonio Brown, and I heard he needs a tight end, so I would maybe offer that as bait. Yeah, other than that, keep it wrinkled.